and welcome to this week's edition of the Las Vegas Advisor Weekly Update with Anthony and Andrew. Today is Thursday, March 2nd, 2023, and we are now going to be using the year in the opening because it was a good suggestion from one of the viewers. Thank you.
Yep, we read what you say, we pay attention.
So it's a big weekend, Anthony. A lot going on. Let's get into it.
Well, it's NASCAR weekend,
Yep.
for one, which includes what they tell me, I've never seen it, but the NASCAR hauler parade.
Okay, we got a parade going on.
They go up and down the strip. I guess that's tomorrow, Friday at 6 p.m. That starts.
Okay.
We've got UFC, the return of John Jones.
There we go. That's going to be exciting.
Yep, that's being held here in town. And the big, several of the big pool parties are opening.
Mm-hmm.
They're opening at Encore, Cosmo, Venetian, and MGM.
Okay, more fun in Vegas. Now, these pool parties get wild.
Yeah, but what's crazy about it is, this morning we had snow again.
Yeah.
And I mean, big flakes. I mean, it was coming down for about 10 minutes. It came down really hard. Yeah. And so, we're preparing for this, and I go, pools are opening. You look outside, and you see the snow melting on the ground. All over the mountains, too. The mountains are they're covered.
Yeah.
They're covered. They're just painted in white. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. But, one of the things about being in the desert is that, it's March, so very quickly it could go from like the 40s and 50s to like the 80s.
There's actually been times, I believe, that you could snow ski and water ski in the same day.
Wow.
I guess if you're willing to wear a wetsuit, I guess, or whatever. But that's the desert weather here. It'll move 15 to 20 degrees at a 24-hour period. It's crazy.
All right.
But big weekend. This is a lot of people excited.
All right, so before we get into the news, last week we did an episode strictly dedicated to member rewards, but we got a few questions that we just wanted to talk about real quick.
Yeah, just clear up a couple of things. Member rewards is the coupon package that you get when you're an LVA member, so we talked about the coupons and what they're worth. We're not going to go crazy here, but just to clear up a couple of things. People are asking, what if I want to get it right away? I'm coming to town because you can, we'll mail it to you or you can pick it up at our office. But they're like, what if I don't have transportation? I can't get to your office. I don't have time to get it in the mail. Well, we have a delivery service. So it's $10. Okay. So you can get it anytime. We have that right there. You can do it online.
It just goes right to your hotel.
Yeah. And when you're purchasing the Member Rewards book, we have an option for the $10 delivery. And you just have to give us the details of where you're going to be and we'll get it to you.
Okay. And also, I just want to say that I'm a local, and I use the Member Rewards book all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's another point I wish I had brought up. Yeah, we know from our analytics that, more Las Vegans than any other city watch our shows. Mm-hmm. And we didn't really make the point that all of the coupons in the Member Rewards book are good for everybody. You don't have to have out-of-state ID. Okay. So, locals can make more use of it than any. The other thing that people asked is, why do we have to detach the coupons in front of an employee of a casino or a restaurant? Mm-hmm. And because that's a rule in the book. They're not sticklers for that. They don't make you do it. But we put that rule in there to avoid counterfeiting. Okay. Because some of them, especially the gambling coupons, are worth so much that some of these guys out there and girls will take it and counterfeit those and bring them in. So it's much more difficult to counterfeit an entire book, and that's the reason for that.
Right. So it says it in the book, but just to reiterate, if you do get a Member Rewards book, don't rip out the coupons until you're at the place where you're going to use it.
Yeah, it's a compact book. You can put it in your pocket or your purse. It's easy to carry around.
Yep, back pocket. All right, this is exciting news. We got news about the Rio, Anthony. What's going on? What are they going to be doing?
Well, apparently the owners, Dreamscape out of New York, have said that they're going to bring the Rio back to prominence.
All right.
This was, for years, one of the coolest hotels. It opened in 1990.
Okay.
And it was the Cosmo of its day, or the Palms of its day.
Yeah.
And everyone used to go there and hang out. It was such a cool place. They had what they called the Ipanema girls, were all the cocktail waitresses. They had one of the first clubs. Now you got the clubs everywhere, right? Everybody comes here to go to get bottle service and clubs. They had the first one. It was like in the round. Mm-hmm. And people would come here just to go there. And over the years, this thing just really fell off. This casino just really fell off. It was purchased by Caesars Entertainment, and they just didn't care about it. Mm-hmm. And it just got, I wouldn't call it dilapidated, but it got run down.
Right.
So two things happened. First of all, Dreamscape bought it, and they're taking over. They had a leaseback situation agreement with Caesars. Caesars was still running it, but that's expiring. So Dreamscape's going to do it. And second, there's all of a sudden talk of maybe putting a baseball stadium next to it.
Right.
And that just came sort of out of the blue. We heard that talk. And I've heard this before because, as we're talking right now, I look out the window, we can see the Rio.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, our studio looks right out over the Rio there.
Yeah.
So obviously anything that's going on there, it's interesting to me because, what it'll do to the surroundings and, what we're going to be dealing with and what it does to property values and everything else. But, 2-3 years ago, they were talking about Major League Baseball, the Oakland A's coming to town and building a stadium on that space knocking down the Rio. Then that talk all went away, and it went to a couple other places in town. Now it's come back. And they're not even talking about knocking down the Rio anymore. They're talking about all of the area around the Rio is enough space to put that baseball stadium in. And then so you'd have a new baseball stadium, you'd have a refurbished hotel. We could walk to it.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the potential, the possibilities.
And don't forget, Chinatown is right around the corner. Vegas has an incredible Chinatown.
Yep.
You got the Gold Coast, which has ping pong pong and a bowling alley, and then right across the street, free parking too. You got free parking at the Palms. You got free parking at the Gold Coast. You got the Palms there, so you could bop around from the Rio. You do have to cross the freeway, but you could, right there on Flamingo, you got the Rio. You got the Palms, and you got the Gold Coast.
And you got Huntington Press.
And you got us, yeah. Come by.
Yeah, it's, all of a sudden, and it's been all over the news because it is a really big deal that the Rio would actually, they had talked about knocking it down, right? From knocking it down to bringing it all the way back to what it used to be. And boy, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. And you still got the Penn and Teller show. You still got the Voodoo Lounge, which is really cool.
Yeah, everybody talks about Ghost Bar, but Voodoo Lounge was there long before, which is a rooftop, bar, club, restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's a great place. I hope they do it.
Okay, so Anthony, there is also news about the Sphere.
Well, yeah. The news is that they've finally given us sort of an opening date.
Okay.
We've been waiting for years. I mean, it was supposed to open a couple years ago.
Okay.
And
they gave us an opening month.
They gave us an opening month. They didn't give us a date. They gave us a month.
Yeah.
And that month is September.
Okay.
And that makes total sense, doesn't it? Because the Sphere is on the route of the Formula One race route.
That's right.
And so they want it to be ready to go with all their advertising and shipshape for that race, and the race is in November. So they come up with, they haven't told us the date exactly yet, but it's going to open in September. U2, that has been confirmed. They're going to open it. That's going to be the opening act.
It's a hot ticket.
Yeah, it really is. And makes total sense. And good. We're looking forward to it.
So you got the MSG Sphere opening in September. November 18th, you have Formula One going down on the Strip. I mean, Vegas is going to be hot, hot, hot.
Well, yeah. I mean, the next thing we're going to talk about is what Bellagio is doing for the race. Right. Because we had talked earlier about Bellagio putting in the grandstands.
Yep.
And those things sold out at $2,000 and $3,000 a seat. They sold out. Boom.
Bellagio's seeming really like the place to be. What else is Bellagio going to do now?
Well, now they're going to build something called the Bellagio Fountain Club.
Okay.
And it's going to be a temporary club built, I believe it's temporary, built above the fountains. It's got to be temporary, right? The fountains got to, they can't. If the club's above it, the fountains can't go up. So they're going to build this club above the fountains, which is going to also look onto the race. And it is going to come in a 3-day package with all the food, everything comped, food and drinks. The food's going to come from all their big restaurants, the celebrity chefs. And it's going to come at just a meager $11,247 a ticket.
Yikes.
Yeah. So for a couple, that's $22,500, right?
Yeah.
And where they came up with that $247 on the end, I don't really know. But they must, maybe there's a gratuity. I don't know.
At some point, it just doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. At some point, you're either going to pay it no matter what, or whatever. Me, I'm going to be watching it on TV.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to save my $11,247.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey, celebrity chefs and celebrity drinks, whatever that is, that's great. But I don't know. There's a point.
Yeah. All right, this next one is a quick little consumer alert. If you live in Las Vegas or if you're coming to Las Vegas, what's going on the Tropicana exit at the ramps, Anthony?
It's getting bad. I mean, they labeled the roadwork at Tropicana, they labeled it Dropicana.
Oof.
And they are doing all kinds of construction there right now. And here's the point. So if you're heading south on I-15, and you want to get off on Tropicana, you're going to have to get off either at Spring Mountain or Flamingo.
Yep.
Or you're going to have to pass Tropicana and go to Russell Road and turn around. Now, if you are on Tropicana or you're coming off the bridge there, and you want to get onto I-15, you cannot enter I-15 going north. Now, you can do all the other things, right? But those two things you can't do. You can't get off going south or get on going north.
Right.
All right, and then once you're up on the bridge, it's just a cluster up there. I mean, they just got all the cones and everything else there, and it's you just want to avoid Tropicana. That's what you want to do right now. Tropicana and the freeway, you want to avoid that area.
Yeah, you really do. And Tropicana is the corner that has the MGM Grand. It has the New York. It has the Tropicana.
Yeah.
And Excalibur. So those hotels parking and stuff is probably being affected.
You know, after last week's show, some of those comments also were, I really missed Jackpot of the Week.
Okay.
So I guess everybody really likes Jackpot of the Week. So
all right, I have fun with it too. And in this week's Jackpot of the Week, it comes to us from Uriel G. And he says, recently I've been playing a lot of triple play, 5 play, and 10 play video poker. I've had some success, but nothing crazy. Of course, my dream is to be dealt a royal flush, maybe with multipliers. That's my dream too. Anyway, last week I decided to take a break from the high variance multi-hand video poker and just play single hand video poker. And, of course, not only do I hit a royal, but I was dealt it. Who would have guessed, right? Absolute madness.
So he had to be dealt the royal flush when he finally went back to single hand, right?
Yeah.
that's the way the gods work sometimes, right?
Super cool. Well, and he's playing Deuces Wild too.
Well, he's playing a good Deuces Wild game. That's the NSUD game. Not so ugly deuces or not so ugly ducks.
That's
that they
right.
call
That's
it.
99%, 99.8%.
99.73.
Okay.
And you can see on that the machine he was playing at said up to 99.8. So this was right there at 99.73. So he's playing a really good game. One of the best games in town. Just a quick comment. He mentioned in there the high variance multi-hand games. The interesting point is a multi-hand game, if you're playing it for the same amount of money as you are a single hand, all right, for instance, let's say you're playing dollar single play, or you're playing 10 times 10 cent play, which both of them are $5 a hand. Playing the multi-hand really smooths out variance a lot. So it's not high variance. It becomes much lower variance.
Oh, that's interesting.
But what he's talking about is he's playing the same amount instead of, whether he was playing quarters, dollars, whatever he's playing. He said he started playing single instead of multiple. So if he's playing multiple hands the same amount, then he's getting much more money through, so his swings are going to be bigger.
Okay.
So I know what he was talking about. I was just making a point about how it kind of works, how playing multi-hand for the same amount smooths out the variance.
That's interesting because variance is a big part of this.
Well, sure. It's like how big are your swings, wins and losses. All right. But again, that's the gambling gods. He wanted to get that dealt to him on a multi-hand. He switches and he gets dealt. But he's probably not complaining.
No, not so ugly. And that's a nice hand pay, $4,000. When you're playing dollars, that's a really nice one.
Sure is.
Well, congratulations, Uriel. That's it for this week. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and for leaving your comments. Anything else to add, Anthony?
No.
We'll see you next week.